Right, let's do this. I have no idea if this is working. Let's have a look. I have no idea if this is working. Hey, okay. So, hey, YouTube, is Facebook working? I have no idea. Looks like it is. Right, that's that. Hey, folks, so I'm just testing out a new software thanks to a bloke called Steve Woody. He said to check out restream.io, and apparently it's this thing which, it's spreading it to everywhere. And I think it's working actually. So we're on, I have no idea where we are. YouTube, Facebook, I think, something like that. Right. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you could write a comment, because it's a whole new interface. It's really weird. So Tom, I can see your comments on Facebook. That's pretty handy. Yeah, nice. Okay, we'll give it a couple of minutes and then we will start. In fact, whilst we're just doing that, I just want to see if the screen share works. It'll be pretty pants if it doesn't. Pretty pants. Share screen. Hey, that's pretty cool. So if I get my little doodle out, I'm hoping you can see Microsoft Paint. Let's just double check this and some doodles. Yes, we can. Sweet. Okay, we are ready to go. I think I'll do this from now on. Nice. Right then, folks. What do you have for me? Hit me. What questions can I help you with? I know it's been a while. I say a while. I've been on holiday. Well, not really holiday. You can't call it. I've always had this. It pisses my wife off no end. But I've always said that any holiday in the UK is not a holiday. It's a trip. And we had a trip to Cornwall, and it was absolutely atrocious in terms of the weather. It was 5 days of torrential rainfall, and I remember we're in Talland Bay, and we're on this shitty beach. It was really shit. Like, I shit you not, the whole beach was seaweed up to above my knee height. Literally, you'd step on it and you'd like sink, and it was like crazy rainfall. And I was like, honey, remember how I said this is what it would be like? It was. Yeah. Anyway, for me, a holiday is somewhere hot by a swimming pool with an endless, unlimited supply of pina coladas. It's my take on pina colada. And doing nothing. So yeah. And also, probably sounds a bit poncy, but my opinion of a holiday is that you go somewhere where the environment is better than your current lifestyle, if that makes sense. So, and that's two things. That's living accommodations and also weather. So a holiday for me, I need to be in a place nicer than my own home with weather nicer than Norwich. And so Cornwall for us was worse on both accounts. So, yeah, that's my snobbery out of the way. I guess we'll just have to suck it up and go abroad and take the risk. Right. Okay, so let's look at the questions. So Qwerty Bertie has said, where do you think Bitcoin bottom is? I still think that a lot of you are probably here for crypto chat, so I will indulge you slightly. I still think 30,000 is the key. I'm going to share my screen again. So here we have TradingView, and you really don't need to look at anything other than Bitcoin when it comes to technical analysis. So, for example, here's the Bitcoin chart on the daily chart. So this is most other currencies will look identical to this, and also Ether. So if we look at that and then compare it to, I don't know, basic attention token, it looks pretty much the same. If you then look at, I don't know, Ether, looks pretty much the same. So most of these patterns, I could just click through this list, and every single chart will look pretty much identical. And the reason being is that the whole market follows Bitcoin. So whatever Bitcoin does, alts are just going to mimic it. And they're going to go way higher when it goes up, and it's going to crash faster when it goes down. So basically, every chart is identical. So you don't need, I don't need to waste time and go through every single chart. They're going to look the same. So let's just have a look at Bitcoin, the grandfather, the G Daddy. I don't think you should get caught up with what's happening right now. So basically, on Facebook, I probably put it elsewhere. On my profile, if we scroll down here, I basically texted out something like, this was 28th of May, so last week sometime. I said that we would have a move down to $34,000. This was when it was at 37,000. Basically, technical analysis, yada yada yada. I saw $34,000 being a high probability outcome move. So if we go back to that 4-hour chart, where it was, where were we on the 28th? 28th. There we go. It was looking something like this. And not only did I saw a rising compression in a falling market, we had whether you call it head and shoulders or a triple top, doesn't matter. It's a topping pattern with a neckline, and that 34 was the low risk, high probability outcome move. Guess what happened? We hit 34. But don't forget, I also said, and somewhere in this thread, that once we hit 34, we would then most likely have a mini bounce. So where did I put it here? Right. Yeah, here we go. Had movement down to 34, 800, blah, blah, blah. Main mini bounce. So this is before it happened. This was approaching 34. We had a lovely high test there. And I said 34 is basically a dead cert now. Main mini bounce from there, but 30K is now 60 to 70% probability. And I still maintain that. So literally is doing exactly what I said. We hit 34. We're having a mini bounce, which is what we're having right now. And I see loads of people getting caught up in this, going, oh, okay, this is the bounce. But I still see 30. I think, at least 32. I think I would probably say there's a 70% probability of hitting 32 and a 60% probability that will hit $30,000. And the reason I say probability is because that's what trading is. It's all about taking low risk, high outcome probabilities. And even if something is 60% probable, you got to take it because it's a numbers game. If I take loads of moves, like if you're active on the markets and you're constantly making moves, as long as you maintain trades where you believe you are 60, 70% probable, then you're going to be in the run. You're going to be in the money. And what you then need to combine that with obviously RRR, risk to reward ratio. So if you're maintaining a good risk to reward ratio and you're sticking to your system and your rules, etc., and you're taking trades where you believe you have a 60, 70% probability, you're going to be in the money. So even if I'm wrong, let's say I'm dead wrong and it goes from where we are now upwards, 45,000, etc. It doesn't piss me off at all. It doesn't matter because I'm playing the long-term numbers game. So yeah. Anyway, I've been in fiat, well, Binance USD for a while now. So whether this goes up or down, I'm not too fussed. So yeah, I think this is the mini bounce, and I believe it's going to come back down because what everyone I think is ignoring is that we are in some sort of compression. So I don't know where you're going to draw this compression, but it's going to be something like this. And yeah, I think it's going to be something. Whoa, here we go. Something like this. So I think we're in this compression now. We either break out, or I think what could happen is we could do a bit of a fake out because, yeah, I can see there's a very shitty double bottom here, or really bad inverted head and shoulders. But I think it's just a bit too vague. I think what's probably likely, we'll probably have a little punch up, maybe 38,000, probably catch people out. People think, oh, we're breaking above the triangle or whatever, bull flag or whatever they want to call it. It's a compression, folks. I don't like silly names for patterns. And then, yeah, I think we'll probably move back down to sort of 30. So technically, this is a symmetrical compression. But because it's in a falling market, we have slightly more odds that it's going to go to, you have slightly more weight to the downside. So, yeah. And then at 30, so when Bitcoin approaches 30, obviously all the alts will be doing whatever, I see a lot of weakness in some of the alts. I was looking at, was it ICX, ICP? I mean, this just looks weak. Looks super weak. But yeah, there's loads of others that look pretty weak across the board. But yeah, I'll wade back into the market if Bitcoin hits 30. Obviously, I don't buy Bitcoin. I never buy Bitcoin. And if you're in this for maximum gains, buying Bitcoin is a pretty silly thing because it's the slowest moving crypto out there at the moment. I know it's done over 2 million % growth since 2010, but it's a big oil tanker now. So yeah, and I mean, just go back to basic maths. Let's say it's got roughly $1 trillion. In fact, I haven't even checked. Let's look at coin market cap. What is it now? 6. Oh shit! Wow, market cap's dropped. So yeah, it was $1 trillion, but yeah, so it's 690 billion. So if you want Bitcoin to double from now on, you need another $690 billion to plow into Bitcoin. Now that will happen, easy. But this is why, if you go back to even staying on page 1, so you're not looking at low market cap cryptos. I mean, even if you were to just look at something like, I don't know, Kusama, for that to double, you only need another $2.7 billion. It's nothing. It's chump change in crypto land. So, yeah, I value my portfolio in terms of Bitcoin because I do see Bitcoin, it's the bank of cyberspace. That's what it is. It's not really I think people look at crypto or Bitcoin and they try and treat it like another crypto, but I think it's different. It's going to replace gold, basically, or it's already replacing. It's got all the pros of gold, not that many of the negatives of gold. And I think it's basically a cyber bank that has no borders, censorship resistant, and yeah, it's a foreign bank for everyone. So it's, yeah, I think you just got to look at Bitcoin as a bank, basically. So it can easily have a $10 trillion market cap or a $100 trillion market cap. It doesn't mean it's overvalued. It just means that people are treating the bank of cyberspace as a good place to store their wealth. So yeah, I value my portfolio in terms of BTC, but I never buy Bitcoin. Never have. But for most people that aren't active, yeah, buy Bitcoin. HODL, just sit on it. Yeah, anyway, that's my little 2 cents on where we're going. I think I'm not going to get caught up in this little mini bounce. As I said, I'm expecting lower movement. And I mean, if we do break, in fact, let's just share the screen again. Stand by. So if we do break, so where's my sort of give up point, so to speak? So let's get back to the daily chart, which, as you can see, it just looks weak. I think really I may, I guess if we start getting above sort of 44, 45, then I will admit that my analysis was wrong, and then I will probably get back in. I know it's a bit of a move. It's call it $10,000. I'm missing out on in terms of other stuff, but yeah, I think. But yeah, let's have a look here. The other thing is, I mean, this is looking very much like a really bad Head and Shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. I just don't think it'll go down to 20. It's not. I'm not saying it can't. I mean, if it does crash below 30, the next real level of support is 20,000. Look at this. This will be a solid level of support at 20,000, but I just don't think it will get there. But yeah, I think what's most likely going to happen is we're going to have some sort of bottoming pattern. I think we'll probably jump down to 30. It'll probably oscillate around for a bit and create a larger bottoming pattern. So I think I think we'll probably see a larger bottoming pattern. And then by sort of mid-June, we'll probably start seeing some crazy growth. That's my thoughts. Stop sharing the screen. Let's have a look at the questions. Where are we? Faces back here. Hey, cool. There's 50 of us, 48 of us across YouTube and Facebook. Thanks, folks. I'm always appreciative of seeing you lovely legends here. Tom Grange said, what can we say to persuade you to start a proper charged crypto group / channel for you to share your tips outside of RT? Not going to happen, mate. In fact, it's a really good point. I know you've mentioned this before, and I want to re-emphasize why. Here we go. So I'm just going to I'm just looking for something here, and then I'll share my screen. 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. I can't find it. Here we go. Let's share screen now. Right. I want to address this finally. Okay. So you are not the same. You're not the first person. If I was to add it up, I'd probably see there's probably about 20, 25 people that have personally messaged me saying, "Hey, Siam, can you set up a private, a crypto group just for crypto, etc., etc." And I'm going to read this bit out here, which is what I wrote to James asking this, and then I'm going to elaborate a little bit further. So basically, James up here said, I still think you should have a crypto-only group. All you need to do is give the same info you do to a trading group and blah, blah, blah. Lower cost. So I'm going to read this out and then I'll elaborate. So James, I know how you feel and that there are dozens of others who are asking for the same thing, but there are loads of business reasons behind the scenes which make it a terrible idea. I did it in 2017 and massively regret it. Never again. The main reason why it's a bad idea is because you attract all of the wrong types of people who don't want to learn anything. They're crypto tip junkies. You can never please anyone. They forget all of your great trades / moves. Even if your moves make huge profits, no one is ever grateful. They remember and broadcast all of the losing trades like you personally burn their money. And above all, no one cares about learning the core fundamentals of how to trade or invest properly. Net result, you end up with thousands of junkies who can't be asked to grow their knowledge and are hooked to pure tips. It's a very transient demographic. And when the bear market / consolidation happens from January 2022 to 2024, your whole business dies and everyone just gets depressed and hibernates. So yeah, not doing it, mate. And all this is just one reason why it's a bad idea. And then obviously this thread goes on. You'd like to join but has no discipline, blah, blah, blah. And then I think Tom said, yeah, so your follow-up thing, I completely get your reasons. I still 1,000% believe you should do this again. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't want to go into all of the business reasons for it because they're slightly sensitive in terms of my business model, etc. But another reason is I'm going to rephrase it a different way. to join the Realistic Trader, where you learn, or you've got, I don't know, 60 plus hours worth of content, and I'm sharing everything, all my crypto moves, live, real time. To be an RT member, it's only $5,000 a year. Well, it's £4,800 if you pay up front for a year, or if you pay monthly, it's £5,000 per year. So the way I'm rephrasing this to you is that it's only $5,000 a year max. And so if you have a portfolio, so I guess there's a couple of questions here. If your portfolio, if you've probably got more than 10 grand's worth of crypto, and you think that I'm actually good, and and you like my track record, etc., which is good, by the way, then £5,000 a year or £4,800 a year or whatever is like my movements are more than going to compensate that, if that makes sense. Put it this way, like I've turned, what was it? My first Kryptonian portfolio recently I put £95,000 sterling in, and it went to a total of about £700,000 sterling. But obviously, I took stuff off the way along the way. Now, that growth is way in excess of just buying Bitcoin in January. If you bought Bitcoin, in fact, let's have a look. If you bought Bitcoin in January, it was about $30,000 basically. And then it went to a high of, I don't know, 64. So you basically doubled your money if you just held it. Whereas instead of doubling my money, I grew mine 600, 700%. And that was from doing lots of little side steps, lots of little mini moves. And so I guess, yeah, that's where I sit. If you don't value my trading or my moves, then yeah, don't join. So, and yeah, as I said, there's lots of business stuff behind the scenes, which is why it's just a terrible move. Maybe I can share it in the future when it's not as sensitive. But there's some things going behind the scenes. Nothing dodgy. Nothing. It's I'm playing chess at the moment with a few people in life. I like playing chess. So and I think it's a very underrated thing, chess. So for about, I think this was like 4 years ago, I knew not much about chess, and then I downloaded the app chess.com. So if you have a look, it's this. I can't see it. No, it's that middle one. Can't see it. It's that one there. It's basically just chess.com app. And you can basically, it teaches you how to play chess, and you can play live chess with whatever. And anyway, for about 3 years solid, I played speed chess. So each game is about 5-7 minutes long. Every night from like midnight till 2 a.m. And I got pretty freaking good at chess. And to be good at chess, you have to basically think at least 2 or 3 moves ahead. Okay, if you're going to be an average chess, like compare me to a grandmaster, I'm shit, but I'm better than most people. And to be better than most people at chess, you only need to think 2 or 3 moves ahead, and you can destroy most people. And when I started getting good at chess, I realized, why don't I apply this to life? Like it's a lot easier applying chess moves in real life than on the chessboard. And so that's what I do these days. When I've got something that I want to do, or I'm combating someone else, business wise or whatever, I play chess, but in real life. And the reason it's easy is because it's like, okay, well, if I do this, what are the top 3 likelihoods, reactions to this company? What is this company going to do? What's this person going to do? What's this whatever going to do? So I then, you can start. In fact, I do. Yeah, I have my little chess plays in life. So, for example, you have a dilemma, okay? And let's say you've got actions. How am I going to draw it? I normally, sorry, the landscape put me off here. So I normally have a little notepad. And so I normally come up with like action 1 or action 2, okay? So I draw it. This is what I could do. And then I go, right, what are the, if I do this, action 1 over here, what are the 2 most or maybe 3 sometimes, depending how many variables there are. What are the 2 most likelihoods? And then I go, the 2 most likelihoods for action 2, etc. And then I just create these little process trees. of what could happen. So you don't need to do too far ahead. If you send someone this email, what are they most likely going to say? I mean, anyone can work that out. And then when they say that, what's the next? If you then respond in a number of ways, I'm probably not explaining this very well, but you can easily create a whole bunch of process trees. And then you go, okay, so I want to do that one, then that one, and this is likely to have the desired effect. It doesn't work all the time, but sometimes you can actually outmaneuver people. Anyway, so this is the long convoluted answer of why I'm not creating a crypto group. It's just, if you want to follow me, just join the Realistic Trader group. Honestly, you're going to learn way more than just trading and crypto. It's all about investing and business, etc., etc. So, what else do we have here? Summon the King on YouTube said, thoughts on funding programs like FTMO? Absolute scam. Stay away. And FTMO, feel free to send me a cease and desist, but you are running a scam. Whoever runs FTMO is a freaking scam. Here is why. Let's share the screen. How do I share my screen? Here we go. Right. So there are lots of companies out there going, "Hey, we will give you loads of money to trade. We'll let you trade our money if you're good enough." Okay. So FTMO is one of them. Okay. I don't know what it means. Probably funded trader something. It doesn't matter. And so and it doesn't matter who it is, they will give you some sort of hurdle. Okay, so the task will be make 10% per month for, 3 months on a dummy account. So that's what their hurdle is. And they'll say, look, if you can make something stupid like 5% a month or 10% a month, let's call it 5 to 10% for 3 months on our dummy account, we will then give you a certain amount of money. I don't know, they'll probably say something like $50,000. But don't forget, in order for this to happen, you have to pay them some sort of fee. And it could be anything from sort of $100 to $3,000. Okay. And they'll say that this is a training fee, this is a blah, 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 whatever. But here's the thing. Pretty much no one does this. And no one wins with these funded trading programs is because of these hurdles. So if someone does win and makes 5 to 10% per month for 3 months, I promise you they are breaking every single rule, like every proper trading rule out there. They will most likely be over trading, over leveraging, placing way too many trades. They're like the risk management will be pants. And so what then happens is they go, hey, I've broken loads of rules. I've met your criteria. Now give me a whole bunch of money. So you then have to give them some money, and they will fund an account that they have control of. They don't give you the money, okay? They will open up. Now, here's the thing. This is where some things can be scammy and some aren't. So if it's legitimate to a degree, I'll just put, if it is legitimate, and there are very few out there, what they may actually do is open up an actual account and put $50,000 of live money into an account, and then you trade it. But they will have an IB agreement. So what this means is that basically, up to 40% of the fees generated from every trade will then be kicked back to the company. So man, I could talk a long time about this, but I'm trying to keep this broad brush stroke. So let's say, because they're encouraging day trading, so high frequency trading, or not HFD, day trading. So each trade, probably with a count of that size, is probably going to generate probably 10 quid in commissions and fees in terms of the spread and commissions, etc. Well, they're going to be doing these people are probably going to be doing at least 20 trades a day. Okay. So what this means is roughly $200 in trading fees per day generated per trader. Now, so they'll have so this IB agreement, introducing broker agreement with like a broker, they will get roughly 40% of those fees as a kickback. So what was that? 200 times 40%, 80 quid. So of this, 80 quid, so £80 per day per person. Now, these people won't be, so there may be a profit share or whatever, but I promise you, no one makes any money with these things. Because what happens is these people have been doing horrible trading for 3 months to get over this hurdle. They then get this money, and if it is legitimate, it is real money in an account. If it's not legitimate, they'll just open up a dummy account, and you won't know the difference. And you've still got hurdles. So because you've put money here, they'll say, I don't know, the first, let's say it's $3,000. The first $3,000's worth of losses come out of your money, so they don't lose anything. And also, they'll say that if you have like a 5% drawdown, we're going to stop this. So it's basically a churn and burn operation. That's basically what it is, and it's all about the IB agreement. And there's two things, by the way. You have an IB agreement, and you have an affiliate link. So a lot of people get these confused. So an IB agreement is, in my opinion, a scammy thing, because with an IB agreement, you're then incentivized for people to risk high amounts per trade and to place lots of trades per day. So your IB kickbacks every day or every week are going to be high. So that's scammy. And on the flip side, where I think is actually all right, is if you have an affiliate link with a broker. So you can say, hey, here's a broker. Here is, and sign up and I'll get 50 quid. There's referral programs with most businesses out there. Like if you refer someone to join the Realistic Trader, I'll give you 200 quid. Loads of shops and stuff have referral links. So in my opinion, IB agreements are bad. Affiliate links are all right because it's just a one-off thing. There's no ongoing, there's no incentive for me to teach you to trade. Now, for many years, I haven't had any of them. And then for about 3 months, like the first 3 months of this year, I had an affiliate link with FXCM, which is who I use. But I've just since stopped that. I literally have no affiliate deals or with anyone. It just made it a bit seedy, in my opinion. So yeah, stop sharing that. So I would run a mile from any form of funded trading thing. Just look at the hurdles, and you. Tom G on YouTube said, what do you think of this Wyckoff distribution pattern that's played out on Bitcoin, Ether, that's blown up pretty largely on YouTube? I haven't really followed it. I know what a Wyckoff pattern is. At the end of the day, Wyckoff patterns are an insular look at existing patterns. So when you look at... So with Wyckoff patterns, you have accumulation patterns and distribution patterns. So either or. And when you look at it, they are basically big inverted head and shoulders or big head and shoulders or bullish rectangles or bearish rectangles. And the reason I don't like... I think that it's been very lucky. So I have seen that, look, Wyckoff is playing out perfectly. But for every time someone said, oh, look, this is a Wyckoff pattern playing out, I'll find you at least the same amount of times that it hasn't worked. So if we just type in Wyckoff, here we go. So Wyckoff pattern, I don't know, Bitcoin. Just go to Google. Here we go. Oh, look, I got a delivery. I think Ellie's home. Here we go. So let's look at this. So obviously I've just gone to Google. Oh, you can't see this. One sec. I need to share screen. Share screen. Is this working? I'm just waiting for YouTube to catch up. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, YouTube and Facebook have a massive lag. So I've just gone to Google and just typed in Wyckoff pattern Bitcoin, gone to images, and you can see that there's all sorts of Wyckoff patterns over here. here we go. I'll open up a couple. So here's one, right? So it's talking. Oh, it's a bit fuzzy. Let's look at this one. Oh, it's the same thing. Yeah. So this Wyckoff pattern is basically just showing you what is this pattern. This pattern is basically a triple top. That's all it is, and it's basically trying to label like little mini moves. But all that's actually happened, I'll show you, and it plays out all the time. So whether it's a head and shoulders or a double or a triple top, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a topping pattern, and a topping pattern, you'll have a neckline or a bum line, and you'll have the breakout. You'll then have the kobo, which is a kiss off and then bugger off, and markets always do this, and you always have mini compressions, etc. And so I don't really like calling it a Wyckoff pattern, and the reason being is that people will try and take this pattern, and they'll call them something like early breakout, or what is this, AR, automatic rebounds, maybe, I don't know. There's so was that show of weakness, show of strength. There are all sorts of terms. It's all poppycock at the end of the day. It really is. And you see all these people trying to superimpose the Wyckoff pattern onto the markets, but you can superimpose them, the wrong way. So here, like here, we had this little rally here, a bit of a sell-off, and then a continuation. Well, where is that on the actual chart there? Like, it's people forcing patterns and things that don't really exist most of the time. And as I said, for every Wyckoff pattern that you give me, I'll find you, an equal amount of times where it's been hocus pocus. So I'm not really a pattern of that. So what's this over here? This picture. Okay, it's not that clear, is it? Is that clearer? Okay. Wyckoff logic. Yeah, okay. So really, if I was to, I can't really do some doodles. This is just it's just a bottoming pattern again, and that's a topping pattern. And I think when you look too insular, when you're trying to look at the granular detail of all these things, you can find patterns in anything. Like anyone can go to the 1 hour chart on Bitcoin right now and find all sorts of patterns going on. Like there'll be, like here, I can see an inverted head and shoulders that didn't play out. Look, shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline. Technically, this should have rallied big time. With that pattern, it should have gone all the way up here. Well, the distance from here to here is, what is that? 39 to 30, that's $6,000. Yeah, well, the market should have rallied $6,000 from this bit here. So I'm pretty sure if I went on Twitter right now, you would find loads of people on Twitter going, hey, look at this. On the 1 hour chart of Bitcoin, there was the absolute perfect inverted head and shoulders. And that does look like the perfect inverted head and shoulders. But don't forget, you're on the 1 hour chart. You are literally playing with heroin on Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. It's just all noise. And guess what? It didn't work. But conversely, as I said, it's pretty, like the lower the time frame you go, the more 50-50 flip a coin. Like I could find all sorts of things. Here we go. Here's another pattern. This is, I would say, this shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline, crash. So this is a head and shoulders or a triple top that did play out. Again, and then you'll see loads of people say, oh yeah, this is the Wyckoff pattern playing out. Not really. The lower the time frame you go, the more 50-50 hit and miss this is. Again, like right now, there is a really bad inverted head and shoulders. Is this going to play out? Don't know. Like over here, you can say, look, this is a triple bottom playing out. We should rally up to 48,000. Nope. So you just got to stick to the higher time frames. I rarely look below the 4 hour chart on Bitcoin. Rarely. You just first of all, start with the bigger picture in mind. The bigger picture in mind is that we've had a massive overextension and the market's pulled back 50%. That's normal. That's absolutely normal. And what's happened here is we've had a pretty big, strong downwards bar and the market loves 50% pullbacks. So what's happened? If I get rid of my doodles, you can see it a lot clearer. Well, this candle had a 50% pullback, which is all the way up here. And we've got a high test on the weekly chart. So again, it's too early to see what's going to happen. So yes, we had the pullback. Yeah, we could still have a bit of a pullback to 40,000 before making our way back down. And if it does let's say, go up to 40,000 and then make its way back down to 30, then that's playing, a much bigger path. Yeah, actually, that would be very bearish. But then jumping down onto the daily chart, what are we seeing right now? We're seeing a compression in a falling market on the daily chart. We're seeing something that's looking like this. And because we're in a downwards market, I know it's a symmetrical compression, there is slightly more probability to the downside. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the Wyckoff thing. I'm not a fan of harmonics. I know Wyckoff isn't a harmonic thing, but like a lot of people like trading harmonics, and again, they're just sort of forcing people, trying to force patterns into things that aren't normally or aren't necessarily there. Let's stop sharing. Let's look at the questions. Universal on YouTube said, "Do not think wealth, think fun skills." Yeah, it is. It's all fun. Anita, what will I buy? I'm just doing the Kryptonian portfolio. I don't do anything different. On the trading pub today at 2:00 for my traders, I will actually be breaking it down a bit more. Yeah, good. In fact, I am doing my Kryptonian portfolio, but there are some caveats. So yeah, that's what I'll be sharing at 2:00 today. Hey, Frank. Cool. You got the Kit Kat. Nice. Lawrence Swan on Facebook said, "Hi Simon, would you say we're still 3/5 the way through this market stage, or has the last 3 weeks changed things?" Yeah, we're still in the up cycle of the stock to flow as have been going on for weeks. This is good. What's happening right now is like we're playing out the 2013 bull cycle basically, where we had a mini top correction. And then we're going to have a higher high now. So if we go, I'm still pretty confident by the end of the year we'll see at least $150,000 Bitcoin. So just quickly share my screen again. So this is a good chart I like to follow. This looks very similar to the logarithmic regression curves on Bitcoin and also the stock to flow. But basically, this dotted green line has basically got every top that Bitcoin's done. And if we used to zoom in a bit, can I zoom in over here? Now can I pan? It's a rubbish looking chart. Doesn't really give you much flexibility. But this upper band at the moment is sat at $147,000. And when you look at the logarithmic regression curve, it's just great. The more time that Bitcoin hovers around a bit, the higher that it will go. And again, people are shitting themselves because they're dicking around on the 1 hour chart or lower on Bitcoin. And really, you actually just need to go to at least the daily chart and then look at the logarithmic chart. Well, actually, really, just look at the weekly chart. It's probably a lot easier. And what's happening here is nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is just a tiny little stepping stone. So yeah, it's still in its exponential phase. Exponential things on a log chart are bottom left to top right. And are we still doing bottom left to top right? Yeah, we are. If anything, there is a bit of a trend line like this. And so yeah, we're still above it. If anything, this means this is actually slightly bearish because everything likes moving to the base trend line. And the base trend line for here is actually 20,000. So I wouldn't actually now look at this. It's been a while since I looked at this. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a move back to the base trend line, which if it happens soon, it will be about 20,000. But the longer it stalls, that goes up. So yeah. I mean, there's one occasion of the base trend line methodology, which I got a bit of flack for, which I thought was a bit weird. So Tesla. So we were following Tesla for a long time. And Tesla obviously had this massive rally over here. And at the time, I said, folks, what is the base trend line for Tesla? It's this one over here. And therefore, I extended the line. I said, look, do not be surprised. I think it's pretty high likelihood we'll see $600 Tesla again, and maybe even lower. And guess what happened? the market got sucked back into the base trend line, and we saw $600 several times. We're still hovering around $600. We didn't get down to 500, but we still hit that $600. So ignore the base trend line at your peril, basically. Oh, look at this. It looks like I've drawn the base trend line and Sol. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. That's the weekly chart. Let's go back to the daily and let's stop the screen share. Hey, Woody's here. Mate, great shout with Restream.io. I'm quite liking the UI on this at the moment. It's much, It's basically as easy to use as Zoom, but it's compiling everything, which is pretty cool. I like. Right, chat box. Summon the King said, so what alternative do we have to acquire capital for trading, if not any funding programs? Yeah, so that's the chicken and egg thing. Everyone gets into trading thinking that it's going to be a great cash flowing income stream. It's not. This is one of the biggest myths perpetuated by marketers out there. Trading is not a cash flowing income activity. It's not. It's an amplifier of your existing capital. So, and it will amplify or what's the opposite of amplify? De-amplify or shrink your capital. Anything from, sort of, if you're a good trader, or no, if you stick to the rules and stick to good trade management, etc., like you can expect anything from minus 10% a year up to 20% a year. That's it. So if you've got a $5,000 account, minus that by 10% or plus it by 10-20%. That's all it's going to do. So, and this is what I struggled with, probably 10 years ago. I was a good trader 10 years ago. I mean, I've been trading 16 years. So after year 6, I was a good trader. Percentage-wise, I was cracking out 10, 20, 30% years. But how much money did I have in my trading account? $5,000 or less. And therefore, my making 20% on a $5,000 account doesn't cut the mustard. It barely pays for any bills. And so I was in that situation where I was like, well, I'm a good trader. How do I get more money? And the only thing you can do is basically get into the world of business or borrow money. Now, I wouldn't recommend the borrowing money part, but in the past, like when you know that you're good and you're not bullshitting yourself, and so there's a key thing here. People bullshit themselves and get into trouble. They'll have a highly inflated confidence, even though their skill doesn't match their confidence. It's called the Dunning-Kruger syndrome. People with a little bit of knowledge think they're the Billy Big Balls Dog's bollocks, when in fact they're not. And so, everyone goes through it. I myself, after probably 2 years of trading, I thought I was Billy Big Balls, and the market is very good at grounding you out, both ego and money. So, but once I got good and I went through, and I was long past I was bullshitting myself, and I knew I was good to the core, then I borrowed money. I think the thing that actually changed my life was that I think it was about 8 years ago, I took out £100,000 personal loan. I paid 10%, and that was my big move. I was like, okay, I'm going to borrow $100,000, and I'm just going to trade the shit out of it. And I turned that $100,000 into about $300,000 over about a couple of years. And therefore, for me, that was a great capital arbitrage, because I was only paying 10% a year, and I turned that 100K into about 300. And so that was one of the big leaps I had personally, because all of a sudden I could pay back the loan and I had spare capital. So now my trading account went from like a $5,000 trading account to, after paying back all the debts and other bit, I had loads of debts back then. I end up with probably an account of about 150K. And then all of a sudden, making 10-20% a year on a 100K account pays some bills. And then, and so I think this is why you really need to get into business. I wouldn't recommend borrowing money, because most people aren't there yet in terms of skills. So I would get into business. And this is why I wax lyrical about the WAP. The WAP is the sole reason, like if I had the WAP as a resource back when I was broke, oh man, it would have shaved probably 5 years off my wealth journey. honestly. So like, if you're basically, if your skin, no, let's rephrase this. If your take home income from your business and investments or whatever is less than $2,000 a month, no, less than $5,000 a month, you need the WAP. Like, you absolutely need the WAP, the Wealth Action Plan. By the way, I was here long before that stupid Cardi B WAP song. So check it out, thewap.org. And it has everything you need to get good at business, trading, investing. Just check it out. Just look at the intro videos, and there's a 30-day free trial. And there's so many good videos here. I know I'm biased because it's mine, but there are genuinely really good videos here. Just do the 30-day trial. There's so much stuff you can learn. And you'll realize you're going to make your capital via business, and you're going to grow your capital via trading and investing. That's all I do. So just check out the WAP. Honestly, this free trial, this 30-day, all these videos in the free trial are going to help you endlessly. And at the end of the day, when you sort of figure out what skills do you need to be able to grow capital and, all that sort of stuff, you need things like get business skills. I need to probably change the names of these titles because they're quite vague, business models. I mean, there's loads of stuff in this module, but you need to understand Facebook marketing and how to execute ideas, how to actually set it up, getting clients, keeping clients, copywriting that converts, effective online, offline marketing. Like, there's all sorts of stuff here that So just check out the WAP. Seriously, you will thank me later. Stop screen share. What are the questions? Gitis or Gaitis Pladus on YouTube. I completely agree with your comments about FTMO and other funding. 90% of them lose. I'd say higher than that. I'd say like 99.9999999%, because you simply cannot trade and make 10% per month. It's impossible. You cannot. You can probably do that for a month or two, but you cannot do that month in, month out. It's impossible. The markets are not consistent. Therefore, you cannot make consistent returns. Vessi, looking forward to your package. Hey, nice. Here's another thing. For those who want to learn how to trade properly, I've changed the trading test drive. So before, I used to run these 2-month free trials, and basically people got like a 2.5-month trial. And this is what the portal looks like. If we go to trading training, and I've got some interesting metrics. So for the last, I think, 6 months or so, I've been doing this 2.5-month trading test drive where you get access to over 30 hours worth of content. Literally everything from the intro videos to level 1, level 2, and so there's over 30 odd hours worth of videos. And looking at the metric, or I guess the optics that we have, like, I would say less than 5% of people that did the test drive watched the videos, which is just obscene. Like, it's 30 plus hours of free, like, really hardcore content, enough to learn to be proficient trader yourself without me. But barely anyone had the time or couldn't be asked to basically watch it all. So I've stopped doing that now. And what I'm going to be doing instead, I just realized that people just didn't care about learning, the proper stuff. They just wanted the juicy stuff. I mean, I even put the Eager Beaver module here right at the top, which is all the juicy stuff. So I've changed it now. So the trading test drive, for this one, it's just a bit of a test for me. I'm just going to do a 2-day intensive session. So it starts actually tomorrow from 2 till 4. And I'm just going to do a 4-hour live session on Tuesday and Wednesday. I've created a little Facebook group, and it's going to last a week. So you have time to watch all the recordings and ask your questions and get answers, etc. But then, done and dusted. So, if you want to jump on, starts tomorrow. Go to this link here. I'll put it in the chat box. Where's the other chat box? Here we go. In fact, I wonder if I type in the chat box over here. Cool. Anywho, check that out. Right, let's stop the screen share. Going through the questions, and then we'll round it up. It's been about an hour. Sadiq says, Simon, doesn't the weekly Bitcoin chart look like we're working up to a huge head and shoulders? Yes, it does. Damien, who uses white background on TradingView? You absolute filth bag. Hope you're good. Yeah, proper traders use white backgrounds. That's it. Yeah. It's weird. Like, I've known good, like proper traders, as in Goldman Sachs prop traders, and HSBC and I know a lot of traders, and nearly every professional trader I know trades on a white background. And I think it's only been in the last sort of 5 years where the internet has made trading a bit more accessible that I've seen a growing trend of people using black backgrounds. And I think, I don't know, it doesn't really make a difference, but I think it's a personal thing. I personally just can't see patterns as clearly on a black background, but yeah, it never used to be a thing until recently. Right. How many? I think that's it. Oh no. I can't see any more questions on Restream. Why not? Okay, I'm going to have to check the actual YouTube. Oh no, that's it. I think I've got to the bottom of the questions. That's why. Stephen says, how much is your live session? It's free. Literally, this trading test drive thing, this 2-day thing is free. Steve, just driving past Stonehenge. Thanks for making the traffic jam educational. Yeah, I drove past Stonehenge the other day, actually, on the way home. And actually, I did a bit of Googling on Stonehenge because I don't know much about Stonehenge. And did you know that most of it has been remade? Like, I think back in the 20s and 40s, they got a whole bunch of cranes in and basically started picking up blocks and putting them on top of each other. So if you go back 100 years, Stonehenge looked completely different to what it is now. So it now looks like what people thought Stonehenge looked like. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And yeah, I think that's it. Any other questions? Last chance. In terms of these live sessions, as in these wealth generation chats, I think, as I said, as I've been warning you for a few weeks now, I'm going to start tailing them off because I was doing them every weekday. But I need to actually do some work. So I think we'll probably do them maybe every Monday and Friday. I don't know. At the moment, probably at least every Monday, but yeah. Okay, good. Okay, last good question, then we'll round it up. So Vasilios, hopefully I've said that your name. He said, I don't understand how trading can only increase your capital 10 to 20%. And you said you made 100K to 300K. Yeah. So yeah, good question. Sorry. So if you trade properly and you trade with all of the proper rules and you don't trade like a moron, you will like on a really bad year, you'll probably go down 10% on a really bad year if you've got good risk management and you're risking like 0.5% per trade. And on a good year, yeah, 10, 20%. However, there are occasions where I guess I have two styles of trading. I have my sensible trading, which is, I don't break the rules. And I have most of my account in my sensible account. And then I can do aggressive trading. So for example, I did a relatively recent actually. One second, where's Restream? Can I share my screen? So every now and then I see the markets gearing up for something quite volatile, whether it would be a big crash or a massive rebound or whatever. And I've got some certain methods where when I see these levels of crazy volatility, I pig in and I can grow an account pretty fast. So for example, the last time I saw this was when we had crazy price action on the Dow Jones or the stock market in general around October, November time. I'm trying to find the actual report. I had it here somewhere on my desktop because someone else was asking about this the other day. Here we go. FXCM report. Voila. So this is the last time I did this, and it also coincided with a bunch of trolls saying I don't actually know how to trade. So I opened up so there's an old account that had some money in it, and then I topped it up to 88.5 grand. So this is 2020. Started, what was this, the 9th of August? 8. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. 8th is August. So 9th of August. And then from the 9th of August, if you look at the P&L on the side here, I basically aggressively grew this from 88,500 to 200k. And then I called it a day. So here we go. Yeah. So as you can see here, this wasn't like one trade where I got lucky. It's hundreds and hundreds of trades. Some days I was making 50 trades in a day, and so yeah, I was day trading. But I only do this very rarely. Whenever the market presents itself for some easy profits, I do this. And so back then, when I said I turned 100k into 300k, I was just doing the same techniques. And as you can see here, it was just gradually growing. Lots and lots of 2-3 grand wins, not many big pullbacks. So there we go. Hopefully that makes sense. Whoopsie daisy. Cancel. Where's my screen gone? Stop screen share. Right. I think that's it. Right. Hopefully today's helped. I hope it has helped. And I will. Oh, one last. Steve, I've been using your advice on crypto, but also applying your free realistic trader videos. I watched them all and doubled my life savings this month. Mate, nice one. However, I'm slightly concerned you've doubled your life savings. How have you done that? Normally when someone says I've doubled my money, it means that they've taken a crazy risk and got lucky. So as a matter of due care, I just want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for a blow up. What did you do, mate? Is this with trading or is it with crypto? Because if you've been trading, let's say on FXCM, and you've doubled your account in a month, you're taking too many risks. But if it's crypto, then yeah, that makes sense. Doing side steps and stuff like that. Where just wait for the lag to catch up, and then we'll call it a day. No, I'm going to give it 10 more seconds because Oh, here we go. Stevie said, I took premium bonds and spread into Bitcoin and premium altcoins. Cool. Fair one. Nice. Right then. Love you. I've got to love you and leave you. I've got to prepare for the trading pub at 2. And I will see you soon. Toodles. Thanks all. Bye. Okay, how the hell do I end this stream? Using Restream.io.